Welcome to another week of the Turn Turn Academy. This marks the week that the Can-Am Cup was won by the Canadians. Maybe next year, America can turn it around. Let's enjoy the lessons. Have a good week. On the left, we have the notorious hit the ball. On the right, we have the glorious practice swing. Why they're different, only we know in our own minds. But what we'll see here is a huge difference. Setups look pretty similar, not a lot of change. What you're really going to notice is how the back foot, or the right foot in this case, slides out from behind her and makes her entirely unstable. And then she's not able to rotate her right knee to the left knee, and she gets jammed up and hits weak shots. So we're just going to play it at 8th speed. Takeoff about the same, rhythm's about the same, good position right there. Right knee starting to tighten up a lot. She starts down, a little shorter on the practice swing. Watch the foot now, right there, boom. You can't hit the ball that way. If we back it up, watch when that starts. Look how far behind her she's pulled that right foot. It was right there, it's set up. Now it's all the way back several inches and off the ground. Then the hips haven't rotated. You can see how much more of her back we can see here, 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 and the right knee is moved towards the left knee. I can actually see the bottom of her shoe on the right side. That's what she's going to work on. This golfer has a tendency to be a little too active with his hands on the takeaway. Let's watch what happens, how the right hand is going to go way outside early on and lifts the club off the ground. He's moved his arms a long ways and the shoulders still haven't turned very much. The takeaway should all be turning the chest away from the target line. He's pretty late in getting the chest turned. Finally does there. Gets into a pretty strong position right there. I'd like to see a little more flex in that right knee. And the hands a little higher so the left shoulder can be down closer to the swing plane. He's going to drop down. Right there, what he did right there is he overswings. Right there. He was perfect. Then he overswings, brings that club way off the plane, and then gets himself into all kinds of positions that he can't recover from. Notice the hands are even coming off the golf club. If I blow this up a little bit, you'll see as he gets there and he comes back in, how he's almost letting go. See how the glove hand is getting loose on the golf club? So what we need him to do is allow himself to be a little bit more relaxed and let the swing happen and pull the shaft through and not get all bunched up like that. See where he is? He's all bunched up and tight. On to a good finish. We're going to get him to relax. He's been fighting me that now for 2 years. We're going to get him to relax. I'm not going to say much about this swing. I won't tell you how old this golfer is. What we're going to see is a young man's swing. Great action with the body, driving the legs great, great timing, and just comfortable and relaxed. The only negative is I would like to see the golf shaft pointing more to his lead armpit instead of like he has it right there, straight up and down. Okay, we're going to go in 8th speed. Let's just watch some nice action. The only negative I would say is that his head is moving too much. He needs to move his lower body under his head, not with his head. But other than that, that's a form of flexibility I think we'd all like to have. Good job. Very good job. Not every golf swing has to be a big swing. Sometimes you can have a nice, small, relaxed swing and get a pretty good job done out of it. What you'll see here is a very athletic setup. Hands are in a good position. He's ready to move. We're going to take the club back. Gets into what we call an L position, which is, I think, where most golfers today should stop, especially those of us that aren't children anymore. We don't have the flexibility. His shoulders are on a good plane line. Both legs are well braced. He didn't straighten the right leg. He's going to come down. He's going to really see how the body's moving into the shot very nicely. The right knee is moving towards the left knee. Hands are coming down, right in through the impact position, extending down and through the target line. Head stayed still, exiting back, and a nice rotation to the finish. It doesn't have to be a big swing to be a big hit. John is transitioning from a lifetime of playing a two-plane setup to trying to get to a one-plane setup. You can see his hands are a little bit low, but he's going to do a good job here. Notice that the lead arm is above the trail arm. His shoulders, knees, feet are all square to the target line. He's going to do a nice takeaway here. Look at the shoulder turn. Look at the club head staying right on the swing plane. The triangle staying intact. Now, the lead shoulder is a little high at this point. We'd like to see the shoulders parallel to the blue line. You can see they're quite a bit higher than that. That's a good position right there. We can see right through between the arms. The elbows are both down to the ground. Now he's going to try to drop the hands back down to the blue line, pretty close. The right knee is moving to the left knee. Heel's coming off the ground. We've got to keep that heel on the ground. If we come up on our toe, we're losing our ability to move onto the power side of the swing. You can see he's doing that right there. And then when he comes into impact, he's going to be much closer to the single plane setup. One of the things we like here is being able to look between the arms at this back view like this. That's a great shot. Solid contact right on the face of the club. You can see how right there, right on the face of the club, right on through. Good exit. Look at the exits right on the plane line again. Very nice job. We're going to get in and work on getting his hands up maybe an inch or so higher, and then keep those feet planted on the ground like Mo Norman did. Here we have a pretty new golfer. She's naturally gravitating towards a single plane setup. You can see the arms, hands, shoulders, golf club are all on the same line. And we're just going to advance it through slowly. Takes it a little too far to the inside. People have a tendency to drag that club back instead of just letting it be on the line. Notice that the left foot is coming way off the ground and the head is moved quite a bit. She's going to get still below the line and then come back in. She's doing a great job of getting back to it. That's good athleticism there. Gets back to it. Again, pulling in a little bit so she's going to catch the ball. You can see she's going to catch it out on the toe a little bit. Kind of get a weak shot off to the right, but made pretty good contact. It's a big improvement. What we're going to try to get her to do is maintain her spine tilt forward and keep her feet on the ground. We derive all of our power and balance from a solid connection to the earth. We want to stand on it solidly, put our feet in our shoes, and put our shoes on the ground. We're going to see with this golfer that he's going way too far to the inside on the takeaway. When you bring your club back and the club shaft ends up parallel to the ground, it should be over your toes and pointing down the target line. Well, you can see he's way to the inside of his toe line. The club is parallel to the ground here. Hands have gotten too high. I'd like to see his hands down in front of his thigh at this point. The other thing you'll notice is that when we started, his spine was kind of on the white line, and now it's well above it, gets even higher above it. Then he's got to dive back down and try to get there. And he does, because he's a pretty good athlete. But you can see what he's going to do. He's going to catch the ball way out on the toe. You can see how the club is catching the ball out on the toe before he can rotate. So we're going to ask that he get in his posture and try to maintain that spot posture through the whole swing. And then swing the club back a little bit more to the outside so that you can be a little freer in his swing and not so bound up. Golf is a swing sport, not a hitting sport. I can't tell you how many times I've heard a golfer say they have a great practice swing, but when they step up to hit the ball, it's not the same. So we're going to look at two swings here by the same person. The one on the right is the hit the ball swing. The one on the left is the practice swing or the golf swing. Let's just watch the difference. We'll shoot it in slow motion. I'm not going to comment much. I just want you to see if you can see some differences there. So what did you see? I think the one on the left is a little more graceful, certainly more of a rotation of the lower body, a little more rhythmical, and a lot less motion. Let's work on bringing the practice swing to the golf ball. Sometimes golfers overthink the golf swing. We're going to play this swing in slow motion. He's already been standing at the golf ball for a few seconds now. But let's start at an eighth speed. Looks, kind of thinks, spending a lot of time trying to figure out what it is he wants to do. Some of golf needs to be kind of extemporaneous, where we flow naturally. and let ourselves just swing instead of thinking so much. Or he's just taking his second look. And if we just started from the beginning, that's about his fifth look at the target line. Uncomfortable, doubt. What we want to have is confidence, not tension. Not a bad takeaway, a little too much head movement, pretty relaxed. Drops the club back down in the ground slightly and hits a low shot. And the reason it's a low shot is we're going to go back it up. You'll see how high the club is. He's going to catch that ball barely on the toe and on the bottom of the club. That's because he's pulling away, pulling his arms in. Tension is a great killer of the golf swing. We want to be calm, relaxed, and flexible. We got some work to do here, but we'll work on it, and he will enjoy his golf game much more when he gets that done. This is the classic two-plane setup. Notice the golf shaft and the arms are on different lines. The golf shaft also points just below the belly button and heads out through the lower part of the back rather than up through the middle of the back. Let's see what happens in his swing. Is he able to maintain all those angles? Okay, a little bit of a lifting going on there. Notice the shoulders are turning pretty good. At this point now, his elbows have pulled way apart. He no longer has a good solid triangle with his arms and shoulders. Then he's going to come a little over the top. There's the over the top move. Club's way to the outside instead of under. The idea here is that the club needs to route itself down and inside in order for us to have the inside two-plane swing. Now he's pulled up and out of it. So at impact now, he's really at a one-plane setup. He may choose, after seeing this, to go to a one-plane setup to begin with so he doesn't have to move around so much. Sometimes the body gives us a good hint that it wants to be in a different setup than we use. I'm sure you've heard me in these videos talk about the difference between the one-plane setup and the two-plane setup. This is closer to the one-plane setup where the golf club and the arms are on the same line. See how she's right up like that. The club will be up more towards the middle of your back instead of down below your belly button. You stand a little taller. For a lot of us older folks, and I'm including myself in that, it's a little easier swing. Let's watch as she keeps it on that plane. A little bit to the inside, which isn't too bad, but now she got too flat, and what happens is, notice how her shoulders have leveled out. The shoulders need to be on that swing plane too in order for us to swing on the plane. We need to turn on the plane. So she stood straight up, and we need to get her to stay bent over and bring that club back on the plane line so the hands aren't back in. Now she's almost at a conventional two-plane setup. See that, how the hands are real low? So she's confusing herself with her golf swing. So we're going to get her to commit to either a pure one-plane setup or a two-plane setup with a one-plane swing. Here we have a golfer with a classical two-plane swing. You can see the arms are on one plane and the golf shaft is on another plane. But what he's going to do is he's going to take the club back and up the outside line. And you can see that's on two different arcs. And then he's going to try to reroute it back on the inside line. So here he goes back. You'll watch the club. It'll come back to the inside a little bit, straight up. That's plane number 2. Now he's going to drop it below that plane. See how the club is dropping? Unfortunately, he doesn't drop it all the way. He starts about there, and then he starts going back outside with it again. So he gets a little cutoff. What that does is creates too steep of an attack, and the ball's going to go weakly out to the right and real high. We're going to get him to either switch to a flatter one-plane swing with the driver or learn how to reroute that club to the inside. DB's working on several things for the last couple of years. Rhythm and tempo, maintaining a good posture, keeping her head quiet. So we'll just draw a little circle around the head here to see how she does. The other thing we're going to look at is she's working to flatten her swing out with the longer clubs. So let's just go ahead and take the club back, kind of easy. You see she's a little bit below the swing plane, which is better than way above it. Look at the shoulder turn. Look how her head is staying nice and steady. Right here, she's got a nice position right there. The arm, see the lead arm now is parallel to the swing plane. The trail elbow is on the swing plane. It's a great position. The head hasn't moved much at all. Now she's going to bring the club back down a little over the top. See that move right there? We got to get her to learn to just drop the club down that way. You see she comes outside a little bit. So we're going to do a little top drop turn motion with her, but she gets back to the swing plane very nicely. Great impact on through. Look at the exit on the swing plane. Very, very nice. Good job. This golfer has an issue of taking the club and lifting it almost vertically off the ground. You'll see this here. I'm going to go ahead and draw in the swing plane, even though you're going to see that right away he's well above that on the takeaway. So let's watch the takeaway. Watch the club come back, and then up it comes. Way, way up. Everything's going up. Nothing much is turning. Look how far he's moved his arms, yet his shoulders really haven't rotated very much. Then he gets up here. Now the club is almost straight up and down. It's going to be really hard to bring that club back down, and he's even going further to the outside. So you're going to see a shot that's going to come across the ball hard. He's either going to pull it or slice it. In this case, he pulled it. Came in very steep, takes big divots because he's coming in so steep. We got to get him to shallow it out and learn to come at the ball a little bit more from the inside. We're going to watch this golfer, Al. He's been working very hard on maintaining his contact to the ground with his feet. So let's just see how he does here. Notice the takeaway, staying right on the plane line. He doesn't have a big swing, he doesn't need one. But right here, he goes a little over the top. So watch the move there, it goes outside the green line. Now the club is no longer parallel to the swing plane. And he comes in, he's going to drop it a little to the outside again. His hands have gotten higher. That tells you that he's shifting his weight out to his toes. So he's going to flip across it. And his exit is too upright. If we can just get him to stay on the plane a little bit better, he's going to have a lot better results. Although he's been working very hard and he's done a great job to this point, we're going to get him a little, one more step further. Here we've drawn in the spine tilt and the swing plane that's described by the golf club as it sits at address. It's got a good 90 degree, almost 90 degree setup. It's really nice. I'm going to watch him take the club back nice and easy, right on the plane. See how the head is staying right on the plane? That's what we want it to do. It's okay that it comes above the plane a little bit. That's all right. Watch him now. He's going to come down and come inside a little bit and cut across it, and a good exit on the same plane. That was a very good swing. Now the camera moved a little bit. I don't know if somebody walked by at that time, but what you'll notice is that the club stayed parallel to that green line throughout the entire swing. That's what we're looking for. When we were younger, we had a Jimmy Furyk kind of swing maybe, but now we're trying to get into a nice single plane with a two-plane setup, but a single plane path for the golf head. Here we have another golfer with the same arm issues. Well, we see this a lot with senior golfers as well as golfers that are just taking up the game. They have a tendency to scoop the ball. The right hand goes under the club instead of over the top. The left elbow flies out. So we're going to watch this here. It's a little hard to see because we're kind of photographing into the sun. See, it's got a great takeaway. Then as he comes through, watch that lead elbow. Up it comes. That ends up pulling him out of the shot, and he can't make a good solid contact. So we want him to learn how to rotate the club over the top. And what I mean by that is, if I'm going to try to blow this up, if I blow this up right here, you can see how the right hand is underneath the golf club, like he's trying to scoop the ball off the ground. At this point, the right hand should be bent back, and it should be on top of the golf club. The golf club should be rotating in a counterclockwise direction. The toe should be coming past the heel, and that's not what's happening here. With this golfer, we're just going to focus on two elements, the right and left arms. If you can see, when she sets up here, she's got this nice little triangle created by the two arms and the shoulder, of course. But what happens when she swings the club, she maintains the triangle on the way back very nicely. And as she comes through right about here, look at the left elbow starting to pull out in front of the swing. And then she's got this, I'm not sure what it would be called, but we know that's not a triangle. That looks like more like a home plate at baseball. She pulls the club in, doesn't make good contact, doesn't have any power. We got to get her to learn how to extend the arms down the line, get the left elbow down to the ground like the right elbow is, and still maintain that triangle. So when she's here, right there, the triangle should still be there. Both arms long and extended down the target line.